Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi LIVENODING. In this episode, I'm going to continue explorations with the UMOG or the growth nodes add-on. And so basically, I started to get a hang of this node, so it's gonna be kind of interesting. And let's start with a name. So UMOG and box vertex. Today I will try to experiment with a vertex weighting, and I will be using a box for this. So a simple box, it doesn't have nothing much to display, so we need to increase the subdivision. And if you increase subdivision like that with a Catmull Clark, you get like the rounded objects. Sometimes that's what you want, sometimes you just want it square like this. So it's totally up to you. Maybe I keep it square. Apply. So this resolution is actually very low res. Do one more. Apply. So this one should be quite okay. So let's anyway get started. So with UMOG, basically you start with some kind of a base mesh that you want to display, so it becomes a little bit more organic. And yeah, so just create new nodes. And of course, by default, you can't do anything unless you have texture. So it's a good idea to have texture also. And Blender internal render texture actually is a nice procedural texture that you can use. So I always like to have cloud somehow. So the cloud, and you can control the size, of course. Just name the texture cloud, and then let's create a couple, actually maybe a Voronoi as well. And this one should be, oh, actually Musgrave is good. Musgrave, and maybe Voronoi. And noise actually just like that. Voronoi is more interesting. It's like bubble. Okay, just the basic texture, but now these three texture becoming a data blocks in Blender, and it can be read by UMOG. So get our object and get our texture. 1, 2, 3. Cloud, Musgrave. Actually, we can use just one of this guy to test. I can make a couple duplicates. And here I'm gonna use the displays. So plug the objects and plug the texture. I'm gonna experiment with the vertex weight today, so maybe I should do that right away. Vertex paint, and then actually not vertex paint but a weight painting. So I always get that confused. Vertex weight paint is like the blue color when you start it. So something like this, maybe. Weight painting, and then let's try this one on each side. And look, actually it's going through the objects. And one more. This one you can make like a writing. Yeah, I guess that's kind of okay. Now let's get started. I'm kind of wondering, I never tried this, but you perhaps can do like a multiple displacement at the same time. So cloud, Musgrave, Voronoi for each of the cube. Let's see how this works. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I save it and then bake. So as I guess, and surprisingly, it works for these 3 different objects. So it's really cool, right? Because now we can control this guy and really go to the relative, hold the option. So we are controlling, if I'm not wrong, we can control all of this guy, these three animations at the same time. Oh, apparently we cannot. Maybe there is a, maybe we can use animation nodes for that actually, just to animate this one by one. So it's very, very interesting. And you know what I forgot? I actually forgot to use the vertex weight. Okay, so we're gonna go back in time. Oh, I didn't save that one. Well, it's okay. Go to the first one, get this guy. Go to the second one, paste it. 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna operate on this 3. Oh, I forgot the vertex weight, but actually, never mind. I'll continue and just use the vertex weight from this guy. And then let's see what's gonna happen. So since we already have this base mesh somehow, let's operate on these guys again. Bake again. There was an issue with the node 3. What is that? Okay, there was a like a false alert, but anyhow, we can see our objects now. It's doing something by using the vertex weight. I can actually like do this multiple of time, and you can see it grows. It grows on the area that we paint on with the vertex weight. If I actually use minus, it's gonna grow inside, and it's gonna give the opposite effects of bubbling. So let's do that a couple of times. Yeah, it's become really meshy right now, but I could try again with a new box. So I'm gonna copy it from this guy anyway. So paste it here. It's okay, we're gonna have new objects to work with. This time I should make sure that I have the vertex weight. I could just copy from this guy, but it's okay. Just paint it like randomly. Mind you that I'm really just using like a low res here, and then you can always use a very, very high res when you are doing yours, because I'm recording at the same time and it can be pretty slow. This paint weighting is actually really fun. I used to do a lot of rigging, and then doing painting like this is really fun. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, cube 3, cube 4, and cube 5. Each one already have the weighting. Okay, so, and I'm using minus. Here I'm using minus strength. Minus, actually, with the strengths, it's good to have a low number. So, bake. So now you can see, wherever we paint, it goes inside, and then it creates this kind of really organic look very, very quickly. This guy maybe needs some kind of smoothing. Something like that. But the growth is quite nice. This one, what is this, Musgrave? So that's kind of nice as well. What would be cool? What would be cool idea? I think. Let me save this first. Is to maybe use Sverchok to create the vertex weighting procedurally, and then maybe change it over time. I haven't tried this. This is gonna be the first time I'm doing it. So let's see what we're gonna get. So I'm gonna keep this. So we have this guy. And I'm gonna zoom in. Oops. View, select it. Maybe make a couple. I'm gonna switch to Sverchok. I'm gonna grab these objects in, get selections, pause modifier on, and use a vector noise, and then also use the weight, vertex group weighting. So soon you're gonna see something quite magical. This is weight painting before, right? We're gonna modify it using Sverchok and based on this noise. So the object is this guy. It's giving an error. Scalar. There you go. It's got weight now, and we can use vector math and experiment with this multiply scalar, and also we can randomize here. I think that's quite nice. In fact, I will do the same for this other two. Save this just in case it crashes. So the object's gonna be, let me select this guy now. Right away we have a new vertex group. We can randomize it and then select this guy, new vertex group. You can check and then randomize the seed. So now we have 3 different vertex weight for this guy, and this guy. Now let's get back to UMOG, and with UMOG let's select the last 3 cube, run the simulation, and they got displaced, and also based on the noise from Sverchok, believe it or not. So yeah, we can, if we have like a higher resolutions, it's probably more feasible. But now you can sort of tell. Let's do it again. Second time, it tends to get it tends to crash if you're doing the bake too fast. Probably a bug with UMOG. But yeah, that's the idea. And then is that, oops, it's get a bit dark now. Okay. Let me try one more time. This is while we are still on it. And I have 3 objects. I can subdivide more, but just leave it for now. And this guy, I'll use 7, 8, 9. Go back to this guy. For each of this guy, I'm gonna get the selections, and I will use range integer, plug into the seed, make 3 random noise for each one of the objects. So if we go to weight paint for this guy, they should be different, I believe. No, it's probably the same. Maybe I just need to randomize this. So they're still the same. Maybe I need to split it. Well, doesn't matter. I will try to randomize this guy for every frame. So now we're gonna get hopefully something, or Blender just gonna crash. I don't know. We'll see. So everything back to object mode. Save it. Now I'm gonna switch to UMOG and bake for 10 frames. Gonna make displacement, and we actually, did I point to the right objects? Cube, So this is 10 in 11. Okay, 10, 11, 9. I think I did operate on this guy, so these two we don't know it yet. Back to Sverchok. Let's make a different one. Voronoi or cell noise. Cell noise can be interesting. Select this guy. Actually, we don't need to select it. Switch to UMOG and run the simulation. Yeah, seems like it's doing fine. It doesn't crash, and we get this result. Let's see how it grows. So this is quite nice, right? It's a bit different, I believe it's this guy have vertex group that's changing for every frames as UMOG is doing something. So this guy and this guy are pretty identical, but I can now go back to the Sverchok, make change to this vertex noise, update it, and then try one more time before we close this live noding. Bake. Yeah, it is like baking is giving a crash. Probably because of the blend shapes. I can do it. Oh well. Anyhow, that's like really like an explorations of beta, and then sometimes I think still kind of alpha, but it's going beta, and then you can experiment with it. There's a lot of possibilities here, and it's not just like displacement. You can actually perhaps like in the next live noding I will try something like this, like a multiple layers of plane like this, and then if you do displacement up and down, you might get quite interesting result. Actually, I haven't tried this, but if you have like a 3D noise going through objects, you might actually get some kind of interesting shapes of objects that you can then merge together. I have not tried, but could be interesting. So there you go. This is our experiment with UMOG, and then this in this episode I did experiment with vertex weighting, manual vertex weighting, and also the one that's using Sverchok. So that's really something you can try yourself. And thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.